show me 50s, got me spending it out. It's like the bad bitches when you dance it up till we see the light. Yeah, I love you so much. Baby, if you really don't watch it, this vibe might be crazy, keep it swerving, we on the run. Lock you round, you flip a couple times. I can show you love and shit if you want. Nice ass, down there, you doing crazy when it's time back. Let's see if you really want the time back. My pack moving crazy, who can top that? Not back for the show. Who that girl tonight? You the one for show. Oh, let's go. I'll show you glow. Who that girl tonight? You the one for show. Oh, let's go. I love you so.
We're out of the brand name, but we do have the generic version of that.
Serene's pharmacy can't keep up with allergy season.
Who's next in line?
They need certified technicians to alleviate the headache.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry for the wait. We'll have your prescription filled soon. I need some help.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
DoorDash helps you make cash fast. All you need is your bike and a smartphone. The sign-up process is super quick and easy. Now, you get to choose your own hours and be your own boss. And best of all, you get to keep 100% of your tips. Download the DoorDash driver app today to get started.
Ooh, you looking fine on Insta, but let me see ya.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Shorty greased up, no Crisco. Dancing that thong, no Cisco. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Shorty throw back like disco. Looking like a snack, no disco. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Shorty greased up, no Crisco. Dancing that thong, no Cisco. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Shorty throw back like disco. Looking like a snack, no disco.
Shawty looking good like Visco.
Take it to the ground like this slow. Making my neck like real slow. Breaking her back like limbo. Screaming my name like lingo. Hitting all the right spots like bingo. Shorty throw back like disco. Baby girl sucking my dick so good. I just fell off the couch. She put my ass in her mouth. That's not allowed, but I kinda liked it, no doubt. No, I gotta figure this out. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Shorty greased up, no Crisco. Dancing that thong like Cisco. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Shorty throw back like disco. Looking like a snack, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Shorty greased up, no Crisco. Dancing that thong like Cisco. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Shorty throw back like disco. Looking like a snack, let's go.
Orange diamonds look like sloppy joes. Valet parked the tour bus outside of Papa Do's. Part-time pescatarian, Hermes hypocrite. My hypothesis, I'ma be rich before I'm 56. Rich is 20 million or better. I'm a three-wheel through stormy weather. Candy cantaloupe, diamonds on my ear, neck and my throat. No need to gloat, it's the glow in the dark Gucci goat.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hey everybody.
Let's go. Shorty greased up, no Crisco. Dancing that thong like Cisco. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Thank you. Hey everybody. Happy Saturday evening live tutorial stream. Hope everyone's doing okay wherever you are out there in the wilds of the internet today. It's been an interesting day here at the Beading Dreams, so I'm real happy to be here with all of you this evening. Oh, see, and now everyone's talking about food. I completely hoovered, absolutely inhaled one sushi roll. I still have my other sushi thing there, which I sound very quiet. Oh, why do I sound very quiet? Did you just yell? Well, I mean, I can yell, but that's not the point. No, I shouldn't. Okay, according to all of my like thingies, I should be the same. So I can turn myself up a bit, but so yes, so I still have more sushi that I need to eat in between streams, but right now I have a pendant to teach y'all how to do, and that's going to be this one. This is the wire crochet pendant. So this is a really nice way to use, and I'm not using a broken teardrop today, mostly because I forgot to bring all my broken teardrops. But have you ever, never have I ever, no, I have absolutely done this, had a teardrop, a large expensive teardrop gemstone that cost you upwards of $20 per stone, and then you go to wire wrap it and you hit it just wrong on the point, and the point goes think, and all of a sudden you have a completely non-functional bead. So this is a really great way to utilize those types of beads, and that's actually what this one is made from, is literally a really nice whiskey quartz pendant where the hole has literally broken off. And let's see if the hand cam will show you a little bit better. So yeah, there is actually no point on that. You can see if you look in between those wires that is a teardrop that I broke, and this is a fun way to utilize that. This is an intact teardrop here. I know, right? The bead went rolling. That's okay. I know where it is. I see it. I have it corralled. So this is a functional teardrop, but you know, the hole on here is real close to the point, so it's even odds as to whether this would actually survive being wire wrapped and worn. So I'm just going to go ahead and crochet around it. So let's talk tools and supplies for this evening's tutorial. You are going to need a large teardrop. You could also use an oval bead, basically anything that you have that's not too incredibly flat is going to be great for this. So I've got this beautiful pink amethyst teardrop. You're going to need 1 round bead, and the only stipulation here is your round bead needs to be big enough that you can fit 2 of your 26 gauge wires up through the hole. That's not terribly difficult since 26 gauge wire isn't particularly fat, and that hole is big enough to drive a tiny little truck through, so I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with that. You are gonna need some 26 or 28 gauge wire. I'm actually using 28 gauge. So let's talk for a second about wire gauges and crochet. So let's talk about wire gauges and wire metals and crochet. So as I've said in multiple previous tutorials, if you have arthritis, if you have problems with your hand strength, if you are just not up to like man handling or woman handling, person handling, I guess would be the appropriate term, wire, like your hands just won't go for it, your wire of choice for anything like this should be copper, because copper is softer. And then if you have an option between 26 and 28 gauge, pick the 28 gauge because it's thinner and, once again, more malleable, easier to manipulate. I am going to be using 28 gauge, but tonight I'm going to be using sterling silver wire because I don't have so many problems with my hands at this point. But once again, that's something that you need to bear in mind, especially if you're new to this technique. Copper is going to be your easiest, then sterling silver, then gold-filled brass and bronze are all kind of equal because they're all basically brass, copper alloys. Gold-filled being covered with gold. But so I've got sterling silver 28 gauge wire for my project today. My 1 bead that's going to be my top, and then of course you're going to need something. Aww, I'm glad they're like besties. That's so cute. And then eventually you're going to need something to hang it on. So that could be a chain, that could be a cord, whatever you happen to have around the house is going to work great. As far as tools go, you are going to need your basic wire working tools. That's going to be your chain nose pliers, round nose pliers, and wire cutters. And you're going to need a crochet hook. So I have this awesome roll that Sharon Hammer made me to store my crochet hooks in. So we're going to unroll this and see if I actually have the right size for this. And I really don't. You want a size C or a B for this, which is something that's like medium small but not super tiny. So bear with me for a sec while I like fish through my drawers and see what I can find, because I see several crochet hooks in here. Yes, yay, Sharon. I found it. All right, there is a C. Hi, Megan. Yes, I love my little crochet hook thing. Look how cute it is that Sharon made for me. And I have so much more room for so many more crochet hooks if I want to get more, but they're not all in a nasty old naga hide peeling, falling to pieces Mary Kay eye makeup brush container like they were before. So yes, love my little crochet hook roll. So what I found in my crochet hook roll was a size C crochet hook. That's what I want, a B or a C. So for this you want something that's small but not tiny, okay? You don't want to use a tiny little steel hook because it's going to take you for bloody ever to do this, okay? A size C is a really good size for this, and that's going to give me, quite enough to sort of cage. And that Mary Kay container went to the dumpster.
Yeah.
Is the dumpster now Valhalla?
I'm saying that Mary Kay container served
It did serve. Yes, it gave good service and deserves a decent burial, but yeah, it was so done. So done. Okay, so how much wire do you need to make this? The answer is quite a lot more than you think. Typically, you're gonna need, so this is about a 1 to 1.5 inch stone. So you're gonna need about 8 times the height of the stone per row of crochet, and we're gonna be crocheting 2 rows, and then we're gonna be lashing the last 2 rows. So, oh lordy, it's Saturday night and I just made myself do math. What the heck was I thinking? So 8 times 1.5 is 12 inches, so it's 1 foot per pass. So 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 feet of your 28 gauge wire, and maybe a little bit of extra for the wire wrapping and whatnot. Here's a trick. Just like you would crochet off of a skein of yarn, you can crochet off of a spool of wire. So that's what I'm actually going to do. So I'm going to start with my 28 gauge wire and my size C crochet hook, and I'm going to start by making a slip knot. So a slip knot, if you were doing it in fiber, is the type of knot where you would tie your knot around and then pull a loop up through the center, so that if you were to pull on the 2 ends of your fiber, your knot would pop out. Okay, well, most of us have done that type of knot for one project or another. When you're dealing with wire, it's not quite that simple because your wire doesn't have quite the same flexibility as fiber, but the principle is the same. So I'm going to just wrap my wire around, and I'm going to use my crochet hook to pull up a loop through the center, and then I'm going to pull on my 2 ends, and that's going to tighten my initial slip knot around my crochet hook. Now I'm going to start the very simplest crochet that you possibly can do, which is called a slip stitch. So I'm going to take, and I'm a right-handed individual, so my hand positioning is going to be like so. All right, my right hand is going to be manipulating my crochet hook. My left hand is going to be holding my tension. So what I have is I've got my left index finger that's going to be pointed towards the ceiling. I've got my wire, which if I make a triangle with my middle finger on the top, I'm just going to put that in between all those fingers and bring my palm facing me. That's going to help me hold my tension. And then so right here, I'm going to kind of press those 2 fingers together. That's going to help me hold my tension, and then I'm going to take my middle finger and my thumb, and I'm going to hold on that slip knot. So notice I've got my index finger that's pointed up to hold tension. I've got my middle finger and my thumb that are holding that slip knot. That's going to give me a good sturdy base to crochet from. Now to actually make my slip stitch, I'm going to take my crochet hook, and I'm going to yarn over, meaning I'm going to dip my crochet hook from front to back underneath my wire. I'm going to turn my crochet hook so that the hook is facing down, and then I'm just going to very gently and easily pull that wire, and the first one's always the hardest. Pull that wire through my loop and then push it forward on my crochet hook, and then I'm going to move my grip up so that I'm pulling the stitch that I just made. Now I'm going to do that again. Dip that under my wire and pull it through. The problem here is I'm trying to like watch the camera. And again, dip under, pull through, dip under, pull through, dip under, pull through, and we're just going to continue until we've got enough crochet to wrap around whatever we're trying to set, plus a little bit more. Now, when you're doing this, it's important that you always move up your grip to hold the stitch that's, that you've just made. Don't pull too hard with this finger, because that's actually what's controlling the size of this loop. So if you pull too hard with that finger, you're never gonna get your stitch through. And incidentally, if you let your grip go too far down, you're gonna wind up with some really elongated stitches because you're going to be pulling really hard on them. So I'm gonna just check my length real quick. So I want enough to go around my teardrop and a little bit of extra. Okay, so I still need a little bit more there, so I'm just going to crochet a few more stitches. And you always want to crochet one extra, that's your turning stitch, so I think that should be enough. Yes, to go around. So now I'm going to start crocheting back the other way, and when you're doing wire crochet, your easiest way to go back the other way is to go through this large part of your stitch here. If you were doing traditional crochet with fiber, you would go through this little bit here, but I find that with wire to be a complete pain in the neck. So we're going to go for the non-pain in the neck version. So I've got my turning stitch here. So obviously I'm going to skip this stitch that my wire is currently coming out of, and I'm going to go through my next stitch, and you're just going to insert your crochet hook through your stitch, dip it under your wire, and then pull through that loop and pull through that loop, and then go to your next one. So through the loop, grab, pull, and pull, like so. So I'm going to do that for all of the stitches in this row that I just made. And what's going to happen when you're doing this is the length of your crocheted piece is going to shrink. It's going to get shorter, which is why I advise doing not just an extra stitch for turning, but an extra stitch or two of length, just because it is going to shrink as you do your second row. Alright, so I'm almost there. Okay, last one. This one's especially big because it's my beginning stitch. Okay, so now we're going to start with our lashing to put this around our stone and tighten it up. So I want to give myself a decent amount of wire, so about 18 inches or so should be good for this size of stone that I'm going to be working with. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually finish my crochet, which means that I'm going to take my crochet hook through my very last stitch, and I'm going to catch my long wire, the wire that I've been using to crochet. I'm just going to pull it through all the way, and then I'm going to just sort of shimmy it down until it's nice and tight. So that is actually the conclusion of my crochet. So that means at this point, none of the crochet that I've done is going to be able to unravel anymore, which is good. Now, when you do this crochet with wire, you're going to find that your crochet kind of folds down. Your rows fold down on top of themselves. So I want to go ahead and just take a minute and just separate out those rows. I'm just sort of opening them sort of like a clamshell. So I've got the rounded bits are both on the outside. So then I'm going to grab my stone and I'm going to wrap this around my stone. And the cool thing about this is it's a little bit flexy. It's a little bit, you know, expandable. So it'll get a really good sort of grip around the outside of your stone once you can manage to, you know, convince it to behave. Sometimes that convincing to behave must happen off camera. So don't forget, y'all, that we have a live merchandise sale happening immediately after this, well, not immediately, but about 30 minutes after this tutorial concludes. Judging by what our time is looking like tonight, I'm going to say that tutorial is going to start probably around 7:45 p.m. I've got last chance 8-inch trunk show gemstone strands. We are going to be sending that trunk show back to the vendor very soon, and so we wanted to give y'all a last chance at some of those strands. And then of course I do have my remaining cherry on top strands as well from Wednesday that we didn't get to, so it should be a fun sale tonight. And then that's it for the streaming week here at Beading Dreams. But don't forget, we will be back on this channel at twitch.tv/Beading Dream next week, Wednesday, starting our new week of streaming and with some fun tutorials for y'all as well. Okay, so what I've done is I've got this wrapped around my teardrop, and I've just taken one of my ends of wire and just put it through the end loops of my crochet. And at the moment, it's just kind of chilling out as far as anchoring this in a teardrop shape. Now this right now is very swirly, okay? This is not tightly fit around my gemstone at all, but this is the start. So now what I'm gonna do is start with my lashing, as I call it. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to tighten up the front and tighten up the back of this around my stone. So I'm going to take the long piece of wire, and let's see, what side does it want to be on? I think it wants to be on that side. So I'm going to start on this side. Okay, so I'm going to take my longer piece of wire, and I'm just going to find the next available loop, which is going to be that one, and I want to catch just that loop there and not all the rest of them. So now, as usual, the more you get this done, the more you get anchored on here, the easier this is going to be. So the first few are always the hardest. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and come on. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get it through there and pull all the way through. Beware of kinks, okay? They're gonna want to happen, so just untwist them. Okay, and then just gently pull that all the way through. Bear with me for a second. Easy being difficult. Okay. So now we're going to go to the next available loop. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my wire and I'm just going to hold it down and bend it to the side, and then I'm going to go up through the next one. Like so. And like I said, this is going to be super swirly for a while, so just have patience. You may want to actually tape your setting to the side of your stone. I, of course, am too lazy to do that, so I'm just suffering. So once again, you're going to pull it tight, and then you're going to swag it down to your next one. And you're going to continue to do this until you've gone all the way around your teardrop. Megan just finished last night's project. Maybe? Like, did you? I'm gonna go with Heather's response of woohoo. Good job. Okay, so as you're doing this, your setting's going to start to shrink, which is actually a good thing, but it's probably going to start to sort of pop off of your stone like mine is doing here, and that's okay. When we get to the other side, trust me, you're going to be happy that you've got some good tension on your setting. So just sort of breathe through it, and I promise it'll get better on the other side. I think there's an Adele song that's got something to do with that. So yes, we do have 8-inch gemstone strands for you tonight, which is going to be loads of fun. And we got some of those cherry on top strands of the African beads that we didn't show you on Wednesday. I just finished. Oh, well, that's fair. Yes, Laura, you should start distributing turbo cuddles to the stream. I feel like we all need them these days. You could just, you know, rent them out by the hour plus shipping. But yes, I'm definitely with Heather. Yes, please, Cuddles. Cuddles now, please. Deliver to us. Deliver to us the cuddle butts. I mean, Max can Max could come too. I'm not, you know, gonna discriminate on my cuddles. Can have a turbo and a max. Just have a kind of a round robin hosting of and turbo and the max. Just do a round robin hosting of them around the stream chat. Yes, quiet tape is good. Unfortunately, the quiet tape is more expensive, which is why we don't use it for the Finding Strength show. Okay, so at this point, this looks like a right mess, and that's pretty normal. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, and we're going to start working on the other side, and that's where this is actually going to start seeming like something that's not a complete freaking disaster. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to start working, again, right around my stone, clockwise. You can go counterclockwise. There's no reason you have to go clockwise. So again, I'm just going to find a hole and pull my wire. Okay, and now this is where I'm going to start kind of stretching my setting over this side of my stone so that it actually holds it in. So now is where I really need to make sure that I'm holding it in place, and I can get a little bit of, you know, really good pull onto my wire. Just sort of, you know, pull the setting, because I've already pulled it over the front side, so now I need to pull it over the back side. And if you find that your first pass at this on either side doesn't give you sufficient, sorry, y'all, doesn't give you sufficient stability to hold your stone in, you can always go around again on either side, or both sides. I'm glad that Max and Turbo are already such good friends. That's exciting. So again, your crochet it's flexible. So you can kind of pull it and mold it to do what you want it to do, and it's kind of finding that happy medium of let's don't yank it all, you know, just completely off of the stone, but let's pull it in the way that we need to pull it in order to get a secure setting. You don't necessarily have to use every loop, like I'm skipping that little one and just going to this larger one. So I think it's going to work better. Sometimes you have to play with the tweezers and such to get them through. Okay, so okay, so mine's still a little squirrely, so what I would probably do is I'm gonna just real quick take another loop around this side, and I'm gonna do that off camera because it's gonna be faster. Oh no, Tallyfed! I mean, there are worse things than smelling like pickles. And I went, Lori, all the way around one side and then all the way around the other side, and now I'm back to the first side because it didn't quite grab as much as I wanted. So I'm going to do another row of the kind of loop lashing. And then I just am anticipating the fact that I'm probably going to have to go around and do that on the first side as well. Who doesn't like pickles? Wrong people, that's who. Can eat them raw, you can eat them fried, you can put them in a cocktail.
You can do all of those at the same time? You don't want to put the fried in the cocktail?
No, but you could do like a Bloody Mary garnish thing with fried pickles. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Megan, I will take all of your pickles forever and all time.
Same.
I will fight Heather for all of your pickles forever and all time.
I'll let you have the pickles, but...
Well, I think we'll just split them.
Okay.
See, and I am not an olive person, so how about this, Megan? You can have all my olives, and I'll take all your pickles, and if Heather's nice to me, I'll even share them with her. Which, she's usually nice to me, so it's not like this is in doubt. Okay, so I did another round on this side, and I'm going to do one more round on that side. And that should hold that in nice and securely. Oh yes, garlic dill pickles are so good. And then I have actually that Mary bought me. I have moonshine pickles. I have alcoholic dill pickles, which are delicious. And then I also have the garlic dill pickles that I made, which are quite tasty. And then bread and butter pickles, and then cornichon, and there's so many pickle options. Now I want a pickle martini. Which I do not have the fixings for a pickle martini here. So I'm just gonna have to slum it with a gin and tonic, I think. Do we have vermouth? Guess I could have a pickle gin and tonic. I've never had that before.
Don't have dry vermouth.
Okay. Then gin and tonic it is. Okay, so I have successfully gone, okay, so I crocheted my 2 rows, and then I went around the front with the lashing, around the back, then around the front and around the back again, and now I'm ready finally to finish this off. So I'm just gonna kind of take my wire up so that I can take my 2 wires and I can center them up above the central axis of my bead. And once again, I'm not using the hole in the bead at all here. So this is, oh right, we are doing the shots game. We'll figure it out in between streams.
I'm prepared.
Oh, Heather's got shot glasses and everything. Yes, so by the way, we're doing the shots game on tonight's stream. So that means that the more you buy, the more we drink and the more you save. So that's always fun. Okay, so I've got my wire kind of centered up above the central axis of my bead. Now I'm going to take that amethyst bead, the one that was rolling away earlier, and I'm going to drop that onto both of my pieces of wire, and now I'm just going to do a basic wire wrap loop. So super easy. Start with your round nose and place your round nose so that they are touching the top of your bead. Then you're going to go away, rotate, back up over the top. So I'm using, notice, 2 wires here that I'm treating as one. Underneath, that makes my lady with the scarf, and then I'm going to hold across my loop with my chain nose pliers and wrap. It was probably a muffled yawn, Megan, but the drinking game on this stream is optional, so you don't have to drink for that yawn unless you're really, really looking for an excuse. Okay, so I've wrapped around. Now, when you use your chain nose pliers to hold double wires, they tend to get sort of wonky, so the best way to get them back in line is just take your round nose, put them in there, kind of give them a wiggle, and then we're going to trim our wires off and press them down so that we have no pokey stabbies, except for the fact that's still one pokey stabby right there. Alright, and that's it. Finally. That's our wire crochet pendant. So again, a cool way to sort of encapsulate something that you have that may have lost its hole, and that you don't, have the facility to use like a regular bead. This is a really fun and fairly simple way to hanging off a necklace. So thank you so much for hanging out with us on the Beading Dreams live tutorial stream for our wire crochet pendant. I'm Allison from Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. We are an actual brick and mortar retail bead store. We're here on Lovers Lane in Dallas, and we are open and ready to feed your need to bead Monday through Saturday from 1 p.m. until 6 p.m. If you're not local in Dallas, you can catch us on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream. 5 times a week with complimentary tutorials. We are here. No pokey stabbies, it's true. So yeah, we're here on this channel, twitch.tv/. Yep, there will need to be caffeine in between streams. /Beading Dream.
We might need to take the yawn rule out.
5 times a week with complimentary tutorials. We stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. plus Thursdays at noon, and live merchandise sales every Wednesday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. That means that in just about 30 minutes, about 7:45 tonight, we'll be back with the live merchandise sale, including 8-inch gemstone strands, plus the shot game, which means the more you buy, the more we drink, the more you save. So it is time for me to go get ready for all of that, and we'll see y'all back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, in just half an hour for our live sale. All right, see you soon. Bye.
Like disco, looking like a snap. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Shorty greased up, no Crisco. Kissing a thong, no Cisco.
Thinking that I saw, I was down and no man's land, but I got up the home. Then I fell right back at it, moving like a tragedy. I can't pay attention to like anything that's happening. Take the story blue, I don't like the way it looks. I've been on my grind, man, on my grind, it's like a club. I don't really give a fuck about how much time it took. Look into the mirror, silly face, make silly faces. Wake up different couches and I go to different places. So that shit look tasty, but it turns out to be tasteless. Do you wanna listen to me? Do you wanna fix it? Bitch, I'm in a paper like I'm inside of the cases. Off my fucking body, y'all. The devil is my bodyguard. Going back and forth, it always feels just like my thoughts are off. Tryna make it work, I think my brain is a bodyguard. She say that she hate me and she tells me that she wants me all the time. I'm so pretty like a shrine. Smoking pills look like a line. I can't fuck with what you're saying because that shit don't sound right. Bitch, I'm great like I'm a tiger, eating cereal in the night. Bitch, I'm David, that's my title. Different options come alive. Bitch, I live in my own city and you cannot be invited. You treat me like I'm a king, so my tickets at your highness. I swear to call me pills. All the type dust in my sinus. I feel like a bad haircut and drugs make me feel under. Caterpillar, I don't fuck with butterflies. Maybe I'ma feel like shit in every time. Caterpillar, go up, thinking that I thought I was down and no man's land, but I got up the hump. Fall, make it back up again. Stretchy face like rubber bands. You should make another plan. Caterpillar, go up, thinking that I thought I was down and no man's land, but I got up the hump. Then I fell right back at it, moving like a tragedy. I can't pay attention to like anything that's happening. Baby story blue, I don't like the way it looks. I've been on my grind, and on my grind, it's like a club. I don't really give a fuck about how much time it took. Look into the mirror, silly face, make silly faces.